578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Some things are too good to be true. This thing is too true to be good.
The Alan Cox Show.
True dat.
On 100.7 WMMS.
I love this song from Sinead O'Connor. It's called Mandinka. She didn't do a lot of... this is arguably one of the closest songs to rock and roll that she did. But I remember seeing her on Letterman. The first time she was on American television, she did this on the David Letterman show. So I was in high school. This album would have been 86 or 87, I guess. And I just thought that Sinead O'Connor was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen in my life. Of course, she just passed away a few days ago, but she could be a lot more playful than people gave her credit for. But the shaved head and the whole thing, man, I was smitten with Sinead O'Connor. I was in deep smit. You might have seen Alanis Morissette did this with Foo Fighters the other night. I don't know where they were, but Foo Fighters are on tour. They brought Alanis out to do Mandinka as a tribute to Sinead O'Connor. They also said that Sinead almost had a brand new album done. You know, the people she was working with said an astounding new album from Sinead O'Connor nearly finished. So you have to think that they'll put that out in some form. There's a documentary on her, I think that came out last year. And I guess the guy that was putting that together said that she had almost finished a brand new album. I don't know if any of it got recorded or just written. Obviously, if he only got to the writing stage, there's nothing for us to hear. So I don't know where they were in the process there, but and I remember this video too. Stansbury and I were talking about this tail end of his show, that MTV was launched 40 years ago today, August 1st, 1983. Is when the Moon Man planted the flag and launched music television. And I remember this video, even though we didn't have cable, but it was on a lot from this album. And it was upbeat, you know, and I dug it. But MTV, obviously, for Gen Xers and everybody after, MTV, you know, I don't even know if MTV was on for 20 years. I don't think it lasted that long. But at the time, it was obviously a sea change. It wasn't even on every cable carrier for the first few years. So depending on what cable system you had.
Wait, what do you mean it wasn't on for 20 years?
Was MTV...
We're celebrating the 40 years of it.
No, I mean showing videos. I don't know if it was just videos for even 20 years. But
I think because by the end of the 80s, they had shows like Remote Control and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they were still showing video. Like now they don't do any, right? I mean,
now it's all ridiculousness.
It's all right. Yeah.
And
I was reading about the people on ridiculousness are trying to unionize. I don't even know what that means over there, but yeah. So, and again, Dan and I were talking about this earlier. The guy that is the CEO of this company started MTV. And over the course of my tenure with this company, throughout all of its name changes and management changes, there were some real dark days in this company because I had the wrong people running it. And this guy, Bob Pittman, who was the CEO of this company, is a sharp dude. He's a creative guy. He's the guy that created MTV. I've never met him. I've never been summoned to any kind of meeting with Bob Pittman. I imagine Bob Pittman doesn't even know I'm one of his employees. Nevertheless, I'd rather have a guy like
You want
him.
to get on his radar? We can talk some crap.
Bob Pittman. Well, I know we were busting his balls years ago for having like the laser fog in his office or whatever, you know?
I don't
Weren't we-
even remember
weren't-
that.
huh?
But yeah.
The laser fog.
What was the laser fog?
He had back in, I think maybe after he had taken over the company or whatever, and from the bean counters, they were making a big show of giving this company a fresh coat of paint, name change when Clear Channel became iHeartMedia, and his 65th floor office or whatever in Manhattan. When they were like firing people in the company left and right, people were breaking his balls because his office reportedly had some kind of like neon laser fog that you would walk through for a meeting with him. I don't know, whatever, right? CEOs of every company are doing things that us plebes aren't aware of. But I've never met the guy. But again, that doesn't matter. I mean, he's a creative guy, and he seems to be a smart dude. But again, he was instrumental in the launch of MTV 40 years ago today. Now, whether or not he'll be on CNBC talking about that, I don't know. But a creative dude like that, you're always in better hands if there are creative people at the top of your company. Granted, he's got to spin all the plates. You have to have a business mind too, obviously. But we used to have people running this company who, man, it was dark days. So anyway, 40 years ago, MTV. And again, we didn't grow up with cable. So I would only see it if I was staying over at a friend's house. And at that point, all we did was watch MTV.
We got cable around 1989, and we were more of a VH1 family just because the whole Mormon thing, and you could get away with you get away with more on MTV. It was a lot more sexually driven, I feel like.
Well, the early days, now it's all one company, but the early days of VH1, it was launched right as a more mature alternative to MTV. Video Hits 1, wasn't that it?
Yeah, and I just remember there was a lot of Billy Joel and Wilson Phillips.
There you go. Hold on for one more day.
It's a good song.
But boy, that Sinead O'Connor, when she would just stare at you in the camera with those doe eyes and that shaved head, she was single-handedly responsible for me dating at least 2 bald women in college. But who knows if anything's going to come of that album that she was working on. For those of you who were still in the Sinead O'Connor camp, worth looking into. We've got some food news here. Food news! Science has determined what the perfect sandwich is.
Cuban.
It's not racist, Mary. It is the ingredients of a sandwich. Again, I don't know how this sounds like just a survey they took on people. I don't know how that constitutes science. But
is a liar sometimes.
It'd be something basic like a turkey sandwich or something.
You're absolutely correct. Yep. Tomato, cheddar cheese, and Black Forest ham.
Yep.
The average American craves a sandwich 4 times a week. Over this past weekend, I made some BLPs. And they were delicious.
Bacon, lettuce, and
peach.
What?
I am not a big sandwich guy in general, but
too much bread and too delicious. We know.
There's no such thing as too delicious.
I hate a soggy bread. It's got to be a bun.
It's not soggy.
That's why you don't put peach on it.
What goes better with cured meat than fruit? You never had a BLP?
No one's ever had a BLP.
I'm sorry? Bacon, lettuce, and peach. You put some hot honey on it, and you're in heaven. What are you
sure
talking
it's good.
about?
It actually sounds okay.
Make it sound
like,
don't sound like it's like this standard.
Don't make it sound like everyone does that.
There's Black Forest ham sandwiches, an Italian, and then obviously the BLP.
I thought you guys were going to play along with me.
It's like Alex
Nevertheless,
Jones. Everyone knows about this.
Yes.
Everyone's talking about this.
My PB&Js, my pear brie and hamon, those are just as good as my BLPs. No, look, I made a traditional BLT, and then I made a BLP. And, the difference distinct, but both sandwiches delicious. So the people who took this sandwich survey, their least favorite cheese was Gruyere.
Dude, Gruyere's nasty.
It depends on what you pair it with.
Anything.
Oh.
I also don't like Gouda. Not a Gouda fan over here.
You think it's bad, huh?
Oh, good for you.
Good for you.
Can I go home early? Can you guys do the last one on your own? So
Nope.
Bill's going to keep.
There is a guy named, there's a YouTuber who's very popular. His name is Eddie Burback. Maybe you follow him. He's got a few million followers. And because YouTubers constantly need to shovel coal into the furnace, they're just coming up with dumb things to do. And he decided to traverse the country eating at every single one of Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville restaurants in the U.S. and Canada. That is 22 locations. He did it in 24 days.
Wow.
Started in Hollywood, ended up in Vegas, went all the way around the country. By day 18, he was completely over it, and it just so happened that's when he came to Cleveland.
I don't care anymore. I'm over this whole thing. Today we went to Cleveland, the most tropical Margaritaville that exists. I got a Caesar salad and the chicken on this thing. Wow. Without exaggeration, this was the toughest piece of chicken I've ever chewed in my entire life.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, Cleveland Margaritaville, for the toughest piece of chicken he's ever had in his life.
When they say Cleveland versus the world, it includes the chicken in our salads.
Also the palate.
Yeah.
Cleveland palate against the world. Mm-hmm. There's a battle raging in the fine city of Akron, Ohio.
Oh, I'm doing Don't Tell Akron this Saturday.
What are you not telling them?
I can't tell.
Now,
Don't Tell.
Will you
Akron.
have a pre- or post-show meal at Ken Stewart's Grill?
Ooh.
Because if you do, don't get all up in Ken Stewart's Grill without proper attire. Now, Ken Stewart, you know, he's a restaurateur of some renown. He had a spot in the Flats a few years ago. I don't think it lasts very long, but he's got a handful of places down there in Akron. And people are incensed that they established a dress code. Now granted, people on Facebook who've probably never eaten there or never planned to eat there.
Let me guess what the dress code is.
What?
Top hats?
No. Spats and tails is what No. They said, in response to our patrons' request, Ken Stewart's Grill enforces an upscale dress code. Now, you wouldn't think you'd have to tell adults, hey, when you come here and have a nice meal, don't wear the following things.
Like a broke
But you
bitch.
do have to tell adults
Or
in
those inflatable
Ohio.
Those inflatable T-Rex costumes. Don't wear that.
We do not allow beachwear, gym attire, sweatpants, oversized or baggy clothing. Now, some people saw that as a dog whistle.
Mm-hmm.
So they immediately jumped on this as racist, where other people said, well, that's racist to say that black people can't dress nicely. You ever gone to church with black folks? No excessively revealing clothes. Clothing emitting offensive odors is not. Now, they mean weed, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or body odor or pee.
I think they mean weed.
It's probably poop. You can't
Poop.
come in there with poop.
Hey, if you come in here smelling like poop,
you can't have soiled pants
We-
on.
we won't seat you if you come in here.
I have hot snakes, you guys.
What's hot snakes?
It's when the diarrhea comes out like a hot snake.
Andy!
I get hot snakes in bubble gut.
Andy, stop talking about hot snakes.
Well, anyway, Ken Stewart's Grill, little old Akron, Ohio, this Facebook posting erupted into a debate where they got over about 2,000 comments.
My guess, well, first of all, I'm bummed for my dad because he can't go at all because all his clothes. You ready for this, Mary?
Stink like poop?
No.
Oh.
He's named James, so all his clothes are gym clothes.
Still want to go home?
Alan, please let me go home.
Just kneel down.
If I have to sit here, you have to. No, listen, I mentioned this, when we were in Vegas, and you said maybe they're high rollers. Okay, fine. I don't know one way or the other. But in Vegas, where they're
clothes
like,
smell like weed, they're probably high rollers.
we've got a dress code. You got to wear this. And so we got dressed up because we like to dress anyway. And the guy next to us was in like a sweatpants and whatever. In Ohio, you really got to, I don't, huh?
In Akron, Ohio.
Well, in Akron, whatever. I'm just saying, even around here, there's nice places where guys are wearing Browns jerseys. So for a fine
Those are
dining,
like $300.
for a fine,
That is true. That might be the most expensive shirt they have.
yeah, but it's not a nice piece of clothing.
It's
Is my
very
point.
nice. It's stitched.
Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's fine dining. Everybody
It's got
knows
their
what they're
own
talking
last
about.
name on the
Yeah,
back, like
says-
they played on the
says
team.
Donnie Dillhole 69.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't know. People want to
You're
argue
telling
about
me
something.
If you're
but-
going to Bernie Kosar's restaurant and you're wearing a Bernie Kosar jersey, they're not going to let you in? I think they're going to let you in.
I don't know. Don't know. Don't like it? Stick to Olive Garden, one person said.
I love Olive Garden.
So people were commenting from all over.
Yeah, that's what
Because
happened.
people wanted to jump in and pile on. People who never been to Akron, Ohio. They're never going to go to Ken Stewart's Grill. I've never been to Ken Stewart's Grill. But they want a dress code there. And obviously, they're not the only restaurant with a dress code. There are all kinds of local restaurants. If you go to their website, they're going to go, hey, the Marble Room right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Mary went. I've never been there. Mary went there.
So good.
Do you wear a brown
But was
jersey?
everybody,
I did not.
there was probably one guy there in a Browns jersey.
Well, I said that. He wasn't in a Browns jersey, but he was in a T-shirt and gym shorts.
That's what I'm saying. Like all these places, they're not going to kick you out because whatever restaurant you're at, the margins are so razor thin, they need you there eating. So I get why the management wants to do this because they want a vibe. They want to create a vibe. I get it. I'm happy to adhere to the dress code. But don't tell me we won't let you in if this is our dress code. Because that doesn't imply that it's a suggestion. They don't say, we'd prefer. They go, this is a dress code. I guarantee you, like Mary said, you're going to see more than one or two people at Marble Room wearing a T-shirt. And they ain't going to kick you out.
You just look trashy.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying, if you're going to do this, you got to call people's bluff. You got to go, I'm sorry. I mean, back in the day, 100 years ago, there were restaurants you go to, if you weren't wearing a jacket, they had to give you a jacket. And if there wasn't one that fit you, you're out of luck. There's a restaurant called Chez Paul in Chicago. This is the one that, it's long gone. But this is the one where they filmed Ferris Bueller. The fancy restaurant, right?
I smell rat.
Yeah, you grab me, I yell rat. It was called Chez Paul. This was where everybody saved up their ducats to go to prom because you got crazy dressed up. You spent a lot of money, right? If you didn't have a jacket, they would have to go into the cloakroom, find you a jacket. And if they didn't have one, you're out of luck. Now, this is a long time ago, and they could probably afford to turn people away. They're not doing that much anymore. But people got and obviously it immediately turns into people saying it's political, it's racial, it's whatever. And that's all silly. It's all silly.
Is it silly? I feel
It is.
like
It's a restaurant going, please dress up when you come here. That's all they're saying. Please dress up when you come here. And the reason that they have to get so specific with what they don't want you to wear is because these days you have to tell people every single thing or they'll go, well, you didn't say that.
It's not in writing.
That's right. You have to put everything in writing now because dummies can't figure it out. You didn't say that I couldn't wear a bandana.
Or they're
Okay,
just- they're
I'm
just looking for a
sorry.
loophole. I
That's
think.
what I'm saying,
They're just
and
looking for a
these
loophole.
people know that. Everybody's looking for a loophole now.
you tell me if
But you
Nelly
know,
comes to
you
your restaurant.
know.
I'm saying if Nelly comes to a restaurant, he's got a bandana, he's got on his Air Force Ones, he's dropping down, getting his eagle on. You're not
Got a
going to serve
Band-Aid on his
Nelly.
face?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
he's
say,
got a
No,
Band-Aid
but
on his
nothing
face.
in the dress code said I couldn't have a Band-Aid on my cheek.
Right, but he's also got a lot of he's probably got a ball cap on and a bandana. He's doubling up. You're not going to serve Nelly?
No, this is
I'd
what
say
I'm
Nelly.
saying. All these places are going to serve whoever comes in.
So what's the point of the dress code?
That's my question. Because
Here's
they're
how you
trying
look while you're
because they're
eating.
trying to set a vibe. They're like, look, it's a nice joint. We're trying to make it a nice place.
I was looking at their menu. They don't even cook their oysters.
What? I'm not getting dressed up for raw oysters.
Yeah,
I'm getting dressed up for cooked oysters.
You want me to dress up, but you're not even cooking your food? Okay, Ken.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, God.
How do you become a VIP?
Are they Rockefeller?
I don't know.
Oh.
No, they're probably on the half shell.
Right, because Rockefeller's at least sauteed, I think.
Not even a whole shell.
Right.
Now, what if you become a VIP? Do you still, because you can sign up and become a VIP here, and does that mean you don't have to follow the dress code because you're a VIP?
Sir, you can't come in here.
But I'm very important.
In your swim trunks, still dripping from the pool. I'm a VIP. There's your food news, anyway.
They're not dripping from the pool. I fell in the fountain. But I got all these quarters.
Yeah. All right, I got a break. Want to send a text 35192, AlanCoxShow.com to watch. We'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS and everywhere